Hey guys, it's Ashley with AA Horsemanship, and today I'm teaching you the basics of teaching your horse to stand tied. So this is stage one of what I do in my program. I always have my horses. I teach them to stand tied correctly, and this is the best way to do it. So this is a typical blocker tie ring. You can get it really anywhere, tack stores or online. And what's great about it is that it allows you to feed your lead rope through. I recommend using at least a 14 foot lead rope. Through the tie ring so that it has room to give. You'll see in a second what I do here. And but basically this has a little resistance, but not much to where your horse can get away in situations. So horses are prey animals that have a flight or fight reaction. So when something spooks them and they're tied up, usually the horses that pull back feel that resistance and they know they can't get away, and so they're trying to get away by using their flight instincts here. So what we do to tie it is you're going to take your 14-foot lead rope, at least. If you have a longer one, that's great too. I don't recommend using like a 9-foot one because you just don't have room here. So you're going to loop it through the middle, just like so, and then you're going to take that section that's in that part of the metal that's down low here with the magnet on it. You're going to put that through the middle of the lead rope, and you're going to snap it on to the magnet. So that's just the basics of it. They do have other ways to tie it, but this is what I like to do because it's easy. So I have him tied. You can see Soleil's there, and I'm just going to run up to him with my hands flying. Might have obstacles in my hands and kind of act like I'm desensitizing, this does two ways. It desensitizes your horse and also teaches them in these situations he can get away. This is really great for horses that do set back to kind of learn that there is time to relax. So then once he relaxes, I'll pet him, and then I'll just go back to stage one and tie him back up. So I just pull on that, run back up to him, flash my hands, let him kind of panic there, and release. So flashing my hands, he's kind of panicking. He's like, oh my gosh, he's going to eat me. Let him go. Once he releases, I'm going to pet him and then start over again. And you'll notice that he's gradually getting better with each one. So I know the camera angles aren't perfect on this, and I'm sorry, but this is day one of teaching him to stay tied. And this is what I do every single horse that comes in, whether they have a tying problem or not, because it's just a great way to teach them and desensitize them at the same way. Okay, so I'm getting ready. I'm going to run up to him, flash my hands. He's good. Now instead of going through the whole lead rope, we're only getting a couple inches of a backup. So he's definitely improving. And then I just come up and rub him. Set him back up and do it again. So you do this on both sides of the horse. And I know, like I said, I'm sorry this video doesn't have that great of angles. I will get another one going here soon, and hopefully with one that does have a tying issue. Soleil doesn't really, I never had him set back. Of course, I do start with the tie ring, so he never really had a choice. You didn't get to see it, but the first setback he did actually rear up in the air and try to fall over, but then he realized that he wasn't stuck, and he was like, oh, okay. And that's what happens with this tie ring. Horses that flip over usually flip over because they feel like they can't get away. So whether he had a tying problem or not, I don't know. I always do this first because I don't want to get in that situation where the horse knocked itself out. But this is a great way to desensitize him and teach him he doesn't need to panic. And then from there, you're able, I would say use the tie ring for at least a couple of days and then move on to tying to the tree, tying to the trailer, tying to the stall door, things like that. If you don't have a tie ring and you don't want to purchase one, you can definitely dally it. I just caution you, if you do that and you do it too tight, and you do it to like a fence that can move, that fence will fall on top of you, and that's just going to be an ugly situation that nobody wants to be in. So just be cautious of what you're doing. But as long as you have a long enough lead rope, usually you can dally or use this tie ring. And I really like the tie ring because it does have a little resistance there. And so you're gradually seeing that he's getting a lot better here with desensitizing as well as standing tied. And I'm able to kind of move all over and pet him. And he's just like, okay, whatever, we're good. So from here, I'll move him onto the tree and then kind of gradually work with him on standing tied. I like to tie my horses after training sessions. I tell people if you're going to tie your horse for longer than 10 minutes, please make sure to give them water. If you're going to tie them for longer than 30 minutes, I would even say even 20 to 30 minutes, make sure they have hay. It's not fair to make your horse go work out and then tie them to a tree for like 2 hours and not offer any water or food. We don't go run 5 miles and then tie you to a tree like if you are in PE or something, or athletics, the coaches don't make you go run 5 miles and say, okay, now you get to be tied to a tree for 5 hours and you're not going to have any water or food. That's just torture, and horses look out for their health for you. So make sure to give them water and hay when needed. And but I like to do this because it's kind of like a tree of patience. It allows them to think back on what they just learned, as well as you're not teaching them that as soon as they're done, they get to go play with their buddies and get fed. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe below. Thank y'all.